It's going to show you down here. These are the cryocanes that embryos come in on. There's a sheath, a cane, and a goblet. So each one of these canes can hold multiple different devices. And so these devices can have, normally they have one embryo, but they can have more.
How long does it take to thaw?
embryo
So the slow frozen method takes a bit longer. So it's about 30
เด็กน้อย
minutes
บางคน
on
นี่
the slow
ก็เจ้าเคย
frozen.
เป็น
On a vitrified
น้ำแข็ง
method, that
30
is
ปี
much faster. It's a
สีก็จะ
rapid
เห็นแบบ
freeze,
สิ
rapid cool.
แล้วก็เจ้าก็
But this shipping takeover
เอาเขา
here, so we have
หมดลู
when
ก
it comes in,
คน
this is
บัดยาม
effective,
ก็
we
จะ
call it
ได้
the
ลูก
mushroom.
นะ
I don't know what the technical term is, but it
I
looks
like
like
mushroom. We'll stick with
แล้ว
it.
ก็เจ้าก็
So this tank here holds the embryos
เฮ็ด
frozen.
แบบ
So
ซี่วิธีก็จะ
embryos
บอก
are
เขาเนาะ
frozen at negative 196 degrees Celsius,
ว้าว
which is like negative 323 degrees.
อยู่แชมเบอร์ฮอล
So we actually charged this
Talk
before we
show.
left. And
Interesting.
yeah, you can see as the vapor comes out.
So it comes to the clinic like this, and it remains in this storage.
And so we
So then
have
Sarah will receive the embryos, and her job is
Wow.
then to bring these embryos out and make sure that they are in fact the correct embryos.
Okay.
That we match them up with the embryos that were shipped, and now we're receiving.
Are you able to test the quality?
no, not until they're thawed.
Not until
until they're
you don't know until they're thawed.
Right.
And how do you define the quality of the embryo?
So quality of the embryo, there's different types of grading systems. So it depends on what stage that the embryos are. On a blastocyst, which is like how the Pierce's embryos were transferred, they are graded on a scale of A through C, with A being the best and C being the worst. And we grade two parts of the embryo, the inner cell mass that becomes the baby, and the trophectoderm that becomes the placenta.
I say that because I've told my audience this in the commercial break. My son they said it was the best egg. And then when he ever misbehaves, his grandmother said, they said that was the best one. So I got the grade A, and let me tell you, it's quite an egg I've got there. Okay,
Wow, that's
so
awesome.
This is how they're transferred. Now, this was shocking to me. This is the actual vial that Thaddeus's embryo was in. This is the actual thing that arrived to you.
That's right.
Why'd you keep? Well, I guess you kept it because it's history making.
Right. What we do is,
They
we do as
I
part
know,
of the medical
they
record. So
have
all the
a
devices, when we thaw them, they actually stay in the
ท่านหมอ
chamber.
เก่ง
You can.
Sure.
Yeah. Yes. And so this is an older device, Cameron. So
It screws off.
yeah. There's nothing in it anymore.
I just would think it was like turn and twist and
So they're all
This
these.
was for 30 years
30 years.
frozen.
Yeah, 30 years
ว้าว
frozen.
30 ปี
All three of her little hopes were in that.
All 3 embryos were in
Yes.
here.
One vial. And one vial.
ว้าว
And so our approach is that the only embryo that can't result in a live birth is the one you don't transfer. So we will transfer any embryo that comes out thawing and is alive gets transferred.
Right.
So we don't separate by grade. Oh, this embryo, we're just not even going to put it in. We want to give every embryo a chance, and that's
Because you
important.
don't know.
Right.
That's right. You don't know. You don't know. And so these devices. So this is an older device,
Yeah.
and Sarah has this book because, basically a lot of these devices are lost to the sands of time. Most embryologists are not as skilled as Sarah to handle these older devices. And so she actually has this book as a guide to give her feedback as she's hit these devices over the years, how to thaw them.
So this is the folder of the different devices
เจ้า
that
เฮ็ด
you've
เป็นก้อนไว้
encountered.
That's right.
So a lot of these
30
old devices, and like Dr. Gordon said,
แล้วเอามา
the method's lost in
ก็
the sands
สา
of
มารถ
time. It's
ให้
things
มี
that
แอหน่อย
devices that haven't been
มี
used,
ชีวิต
technology
เนาะ
that hasn't been
โอ้
used
ดี
in
หลาย
so long. And so a lot of labs and clinics will not accept them anymore. They have they're thought to have a lesser survivability, to come out of the thaw, less, chance of being able to survive. So
I'm struck by the advancement of the technology. I mean, even down to the storage and what they're put in.
That's right.
Right. So we've kind of made this, we call it a device library here that...
Should this be on paper? I feel like a hard drive.
Cameron, it's a little bit like, I feel a little bit like MacGyver. Because sometimes, when you open up one of these tanks, we don't know what's coming. We don't know what it's going to look like. Some of them are homemade devices that the lab made from 30 years ago that we don't see anymore. And so we make this library to hopefully help future people in our lab.
I'm going to recommend we have to get this on some kind of hard drive at some point.
Well, here's one of those that, everyone thought was pretty funny. Be careful where full face shield might explode. because literally
looks
thawing
cool.
this on the same day, thawing the Pierce's embryos, a glass ampule that's old school, and we don't use it anymore. I had my safety goggles on. Luckily, it exploded, hit me in the face, blood running down my face, and so read my note, might explode.
Might explode.
And we have these.
So when you open it and you see the device, you can go to
You don't
this.
know.
You don't know.
We don't know what's coming from that clinic.
And so
Incredible that
what's why most clinics won't accept is that they don't want to kill them. No one wants to be the embryologist that accidentally kills someone's embryos. It's got all their hopes and dreams. It's got everything, that they are
So interesting.
paying for and everything in between. We have the donors and the adopting family.
depending on you.
That's right.
How fast is this technology changing and advancing?
Well, vitrification came on the scene 2005 to 2010, and that was a huge leap forward. It allowed us to freeze unfertilized eggs,
Right.
but also to freeze blastocyst stage embryos, which are much bigger than a
Dr.
4-cell
John
or a 2-cell
Gordon.
embryo, which is a little bit easier to
Yeah.
freeze. So that was a huge advance, and so I think that we've really made some huge progress in terms of the survival. We now run probably 97-99% survival in our own clinic with our frozen
Really?
thawed embryos.
Wow.
I know this is what you use for the transfer. I'm familiar with this device a little bit. Where do you see this technology in the next 10 years? Because there are people who say we will look back at the advancements of IVF and wonder, for example,
No,
of women who
สนใจ
say, I want a career first and have a child later, or parents who've given up hope, that we are at a revolutionary change when it comes to parenthood.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think we also have to have a responsibility to our patients, to guide them and to say, this is, as Beth indicated, a really hard thing to have these extra embryos.
Yeah.
Nobody thinks that they will end up in IVF with too many.
Right.
They're worried they'll have too few. And so I think as physicians, we need to prepare them, what are your plans? And since the egg freezing technology has advanced so much, maybe we should be shifting a little bit more towards
Dr.
separating
John,
between freezing some eggs and
remind me of
fertilizing some eggs rather than
Jesus.
fertilizing every egg
How
because of what's
God
coming down.
Right. Well,
created
thank you
all
so
things,
much. There's a nice
and He give us life. Wow, thank you. Interesting talk show. I learned something new today from Channel 30, 10 Modern Hall talk show. ขอบใจสิ Lady Baby from the frozen embryo 30 years ago. Wow. Thank you, Chairman Hall.
You are looking at are the 5 people behind
Wow.
this miraculous and historic moment coming up.
So amazing. Thank you for showing. Thank you for teaching us on TV. We love you. Wow.
Can we have the conversation now?
So good. Wow.